The topic of my talk is device art with 3 exclamation points. I was so excited to not have to use colons in a title for once that I thought a new form of punctuation was needed. I am a polymedia artist from Toronto. I make art with traditional media like paint, and using computers, I create images using code and employ electronics to create site-specific installations, such as this recent one in Toronto. A word first about the term device art, which is relatively new, although examples of it can be traced back for some time. The term was coined in 2004 by media scholar Michiko Kusahara, and it describes a media art that integrates art and technology, as well as design, entertainment, and pop culture, which is a lot about what TED does. Device art exists less to address a need or a function as it does to provide the artist with an outlet for communication. While device art reflects elements of Japanese culture and Shinto beliefs, it's also influenced by the DIY movement and hacker culture. And most importantly, it's a concept which allows us to re-examine art in a historical and contemporary tradition and propose new ways of looking at media and art in general. Device art challenges traditional paradigms by bringing art outside the gallery and museums and bringing it to a much wider audience. Artists can think about producing 10,000 pieces for $10 instead of 10 pieces for $10,000. Here, the object itself is context, and rather than just being a medium for the delivery of content. Artists use and invent technology in ways that engineers don't always think about. Tenori-on, meaning sound on your palm in Japanese, is a work by Toshio Iwai, who worked with Yamaha to realize this wonderful musical instrument that allows you to play music in a purely visual fashion. Technology can also be a powerful tool to articulate biology, and these themes are prevalent in Theo Jansen's work, who was a presenter at TED in 2007. These large-scale sculptures are powered by the wind. This fusion of art and engineering is increasingly prevalent in our contemporary experience, such as this extraordinary sculpture, which is a set of cones that are actually electromagnets, and their magnetic fields are modulated by music. They affect a ferromagnetic fluid in which the cones bathe. Meiwa Denki is an art and music unit that sells products. The products encapsulate, I think, quite well the optimistic and playful attitude that the Japanese have towards technology. Their exhibitions and performances are referred to as product demonstrations. Here's one such example. Goes on like this forever. All right, so I don't know about you, but I personally, I get really annoyed by software that pops up all the time. You know, like I'm using a calendar to try and help me in my life, and these little devices seem to be getting in my way. So when I was at the Canadian Film Centre, the team that I was with thought a lot about this and many other questions, actually using a lot of the techniques that David was describing to narrow in on the theme for our device art prototype called My Time. So My Time is a series of designer desktop collectibles, and they connect to your computer to express time in creative ways. Our prototype consists of 5 objects. This is the glow, which tells time using patterns of colored light. The phono is essentially a speaker. This is a microphone that you can use to record sounds into your computer. And the matrix is a display that shows the date, time, text that you type in, or images. They all connect to this fancy-looking hub. Now, these are prototypes, and we created 5 to try and explain a larger concept, which is kind of their nature as collectibles. We see them as belonging to multiple families, like the Loggies, for example, and you can mix and match them, putting them on your desk, and creating an ideal environment for your work or play. We also created software that controls these devices. It's fairly intuitive. You click on the objects in order to modify their properties. I personally tend to work really late into the night, and sometimes I lose track of time. I don't know exactly what's going on. The sun is gone, and I wish I had a better understanding of how much time I'm actually spending working, which tends to get sucked up in computer land. So I might program these devices to create a little bit of an artificial sunrise and sunset for myself at the beginning of my workday, whenever that may start, rising to its zenith, slowly setting, letting me know that I should be really wrapping up. You might also configure the devices and schedule them so that at various times they are going off in sequence about, say, an hour before you want to be reminded to not miss your daughter's soccer game. You would have text scroll across the display, and getting closer to the event, or might start to flash red, and maybe when it's a few minutes past your deadline for leaving, the subtle voice of your daughter reminding you not to miss her soccer game that you've pre-recorded comes up and makes you run to your automobile.